You want to hear a secret? This is how you stay in champion without doing anything. What's going on, guys? Arkanen here again with kind of a weird video today. We're going to take a break from Abyss for just a second to talk about a weird thing that exists in Epic 7, and that's the reality that you can sort of hide yourself and still hit champion in arena every single week with very, very little effort involved. I'm going to show you the way that I do it, and then we're going to talk through the ideas of why we think it happens, but also that no one really knows why this works. So let's take a look. So it's Monday morning, and I just want to show you kind of like the way this works. Last week, I kept my score at 4980, which is about 20 points underneath the Champion 5 threshold, just due to the way that this strategy works. So let me show you what we did and where we ended up for the rest of the week. If I jump into arena, and if we go into the arena specifically, you'll notice it says that I ended in Champ 5, starting grade Champ 5. Perfect, that's what we wanted, because most of the biggest reason you want to stay in Champ 5 is you want the 800 skystones. If you drop down into Challenger 1, you immediately get 640, so it's a pretty big difference. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to select my reward. I prefer the skystones over the mystic bookmarks. I just think you get more value out of them. Even if you were re-rolling shop, you'd get more potential value out of these. So I'm going to go with the skystones. But here's the question. How does this work? Why does this work? And why should I do this? So to start, how does this work? Well, the way that you're going to actually do this is you're going to basically spend all of your flags all week long. You're going to spend your time using those flags on NPC challenges if they're up, just to give yourself extra skystones and extra of the conquest point currency. And basically how you're going to do it to be able to stay in a low ranking is you're going to pick somebody randomly on the first team that kind of jumps up in here and go my personal opinion is pick something that's not fast. Typically fast teams will always go first, so it becomes harder to yield. Just a preference. So for me, I would pick something like this team where I know that my cleave team will just be faster than everybody in here. So this week, X Tableau is going to essentially win the game. I could also pick Frank. I could also probably pick Milo as well, and then also Sukunome. Any of those would be fine. Anything's fine. So the first one that I saw was X Tableau, so I'm just going to go ahead and click. The way that I'm going to choose to do this is I'm going to jump in, hit fight, and as soon as we get a chance to fight, we're going to start, and we are going to get into the fight and yield. So we don't actually want to fight this at all. I'm currently, when you restart for the week, you start at 5,000 points. If I jump in here and I yield, I will lose some points right off the bat. It should take me down to 4990. And then after I've gotten to 4990, I then jump back in here again and I retry just to make sure that we can get the 2 losses that actually count against us out of the way. Basically what we're doing here is we're keeping our win rate extremely low. We won't actually win any fights at all. And by doing this, for some reason, it tends to just keep you off the radar of other people. So I'm going to put those in. I already bought my flags for the week. By the way, I buy flags all week long. Anytime that I can, every single day, I will buy them. Because if I'm not doing NPC challenges, I want to be in here, jumping in and fighting, in this case for this week's, X Tableau. I'm gonna fight him all week long. I'm literally gonna do nothing but join in and int constantly. It's almost like you take more fights because you win more fights. It's like you take more fights because you're actually fighting more people. But if you're not fighting more people, nothing really happens. And for some reason, I don't know if it's just because you're losing or what it is. It just doesn't matter. You can just keep doing this. And you'll find that if you're gonna drop any extra points below the 4980, it'll be within the first day, because within the first day, you randomly will probably show up on somebody's radar somewhere as an opponent. So it's possible that you could lose maybe 1, potentially 2, upwards of 3 more times, which would be kind of awful. But honestly, as long as you stay above 4960 and then potentially 50, I think the range is 50 all the way up to 5,000. If you're still in Champion 5 when you start that, you'll remain in Champion 5, and then you can just stay off the radar. If you haven't noticed that you are staying at a consistent rate of in my case, 49.80 last week, or if you were to get like 49.70 after day one or 60, and you started noticing like as days went on that you were still losing points, you might have to win a few of them before you can sort of like try to stunt your growth again. But that's why I use a lot of flags. I int heavily with every flag that I possibly can. For the reality that I'm going to get more actual conquest points. I mean, it's not as many as winning, but considering you're putting in no effort but just yielding, who cares, right? It's still more than your 5 tickets for the day. You're still getting your value out of it. It's just worth it. If you've noticed by like Tuesday or Wednesday that you're actually struggling, you're going to want to like get a couple of wins up and then just allow yourself to fall down until you stop seeing that your number move. Because at that point, you sort of like fall off the radar and people just for some reason can't see you. I don't know if it's because your win rate is low. I don't know if it's because you have... If everybody, there's just so many people that exist in this realm, and because you have a low win rate and there's a lot of people in the realm and there's a lot of people that are regularly losing here, that it's just a big pool. Who knows? But I've literally done this for the last month and I've had zero trouble staying right here and never actually moving. It's a very weird strategy, but it does ultimately give you a ton of extra sky stones because you're always going to have your NPC challenges able to be completed, and you literally will just take any excess flags that you have and just int into the same person over and over and over again. So why should I be doing this? Well, honestly, other than the reasons of just getting sky stones more easily and going in and getting yourself like a decent amount of conquest points without putting in any real effort, I would say really many people, at least that I talk to, think that Arena is kind of an annoying piece of content at this point because there's like not really much to it. However, you do get a lot of materials from doing it, unlike a lot of other pieces in the game. And so people still do it, but this is like their sort of clever way of being able to work within the confines that Smilegate has placed on this. So I guess my biggest suggestion would be more directed at Smilegate, probably to say like, hey guys, this exists. If you didn't know it, now you do. It definitely would show up if you're looking at like anybody's win rates. I mean, you can see, obviously I said I've done it for the last month because before that we were just basically taking our fights the way we would normally take fights and it just made sense. But after I realized I didn't have to, it was like, okay, let's see how consistent this is. Does this work every time? For now 4 weeks, the answer has been yes. It works every time. I don't have to actually put in any real effort. And this is probably something that we want to change if we want to keep this even remotely viable as like a form of content for the game. So basically, should you do it? I guess the answer is probably no, but also at the same time, it is one of those like, this needs to be addressed. This needs to be kind of looked at because I don't personally want to spend a lot of time on Arena, so it makes sense for me to go down and use this route. But I think for the sake of like the long-term longevity of the game and where Smilegate probably wants this to sit is probably in a different place. So I'm saying this respectfully because I realize that this could be a bug, and I'm not trying to necessarily go out and exploit a piece, but I will say that it is consistent every single week. People have been doing this, I know, for well over 6 months plus, and it has existed in the game for a very long time. So if it's going to exist and they're not going to change it, and this is content you don't necessarily care to climb in, this is easy sky stones right here. You don't have to put in almost any effort. One other quick thing I'd like to mention here, basically, this is not 100% strategy either. Just due to the general number of people that are in this particular area of Champion 5 and the general inactivity of a lot of them that are probably already doing this, there's so many reasons why this could work exactly right for you one week, and on another week that your defense could just get slammed and you might have to work a lot harder. Just note to yourself that you do want to put a defense in that is at least a little bit scary, that does at least intimidate a bit. Otherwise, it probably won't work out quite as well as you want it to. So that's it, dudes. Kind of a short video. Basically wanted to just like throw that out there for any of you guys that may be struggling staying in Champion. This is the strat to stay in without putting in any of the extra effort. To Smilegate, if you ever are watching this particular video, I'm not sure if you do or not, but if you do, note that I'm really not trying to start anything or to get nothing at all. The whole purpose of this video is literally to just say like, hey, this exists. If we don't want to change it, or if Smilegate decides they don't want to change it, no problem. But then I guess this is the strategy that we all end up playing into because that's just what it would take to get through. Otherwise, maybe Smilegate will take this to heart as something that they would like to change, and then we'll kind of see those changes as they come through. So I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If this is something that you guys want to use, At this point, feel free. As time goes on, we'll see kind of from there. But have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this, or maybe you have figured out ways as to like understanding exactly why this works the way that it does. Make sure you guys put that in the comments. Love you, dudes. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.